Hey folks, it's Lauren from Snowies here with the Offgrid Good Rice taste test.
Hit it.
It's shelf-stable food that comes in an easy heat pouch, loads of flavours available, and it's fresh, not dehydrated. Hold up fam, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any awesome content on the Snowies channel. Let's get into it. So the food pouch weighs about 300 grams of net food, with the package being about an extra 20 grams. It measures 22 centimeters tall by about 14 centimeters wide. And the thickness here really depends on the food that's inside, how squishable it is and whether you can spread it out the whole length, but maybe, you know, a couple of centimeters, 2 or 3 centimeters or so. It's made of a really sturdy, like heat, or food safe heat resistant package here, because you do heat it in the bag. It's got a couple of tear points. You've got one up the top here and one further down. Which one you tear off would either depend on the meal and how full the bag actually is, whether or not you've got a long spoon or a short spoon or a utensil. The other thing to point out is that because it is wet food or fresh food that's sealed in a packet and isn't dehydrated, you don't have that sort of ziplock thing at the bag. So once it is opened and ready to eat, you do need to eat the whole meal or have something on hand that will allow you to store the food in your bag without it spilling. We do also have on the back of the packet here a rough description of what the meal is and an ingredients list. You've also got your nutritional information up here, some best before information down the bottom, and some information about how to prepare your meal. So your best before information, roughly around about these meals will be 12 to 15 months expiry date from the date of manufacture. So they are pretty generally shelf stable. So some of the pouches in the range have a bit more food in them than the main meal. So for example, the rice is a good indicator of this, and it's filled all the way to the top of the pouch. If you're using a flash, you can sort of force it in, but the top of the pouch will be above the water. So it's up to you in the field whether or not you just make it work. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to use a larger Sigma pot just so we can fill it up with a bit more water and get that pouch fully submerged. So it sounds like our water's pretty much boiling now. I can hear the lid rattling away. So what I might do is pop the rice in. I'm gonna try and get this packer almost fully submerged in this pot here. Pop the lid on and set my timer for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and check on that. So the timer's gone off. So I'm gonna rip across the top here because that's where our food level is. So let's have a look and see how well this rice is. Okay, so it's brown rice, which is good to know. It's nice and hot. Doesn't look super starchy or like mushy or stuck together. So we'll give that a bit of a mix around. So the grains of rice are definitely not overcooked. Each of them have got that nice sort of bit of firmness that you want, even when they are cooked. They're not sort of sticking together. Or what you've got here, I'd say, is probably about 2 serves of rice. If you were to pair it with a meal that you're cooking from scratch on the stove, or even with another of the off-grid main meals like the venison or the curry, for example. If you're feeling super hungry, this is probably a 1 serve, but I'd say it's better off being divided by 2 people. Good consistency, not stodgy, not overcooked. The grains of rice are like, you know, perfect tenderness. And when you're cooking rice, I guess at camp, and you end up with that starchy water and all that sort of stuff, even if you just have a couple of packets of these to save you the extra hassle or mess of cooking rice on the go, I reckon this is a really good alternative. Really important thing to note about this particular rice, compared with other options that maybe might be available at the supermarket, is that it's Australian grown brown rice, which is a really good advantage, especially if Australian made or Australian industry based products is important to you. That's about it for the Offgrid Good Rice. You can get this and other flavours from Offgrid at snowies.com.au.